Hi everybody, welcome back to the Magic Kingdom. So we're behind my house again with the big view out front, out back. This is a subject I've been really looking forward to talking about and really excited. I call it thought transportation and emotional bubbles. Well, a couple weeks ago I was in the local hiking store and I walked upstairs to where the men's clothing is, and I heard this music from the late 60s, early 70s, and all of a sudden I just felt this sense of freedom. I'm sure we've all had music remind us about a time in our lives. And in that moment, I got a big insight about thought, about the power of thought, about the true nature of thought. I had some thoughts in that moment about that time in my life, maybe about 19, 18. Actually, it was really more mid-70s. I'm making myself older than I am. And those thoughts about that time brought about the feeling that I had then, which was a sense of freedom. I'm sure we've all experienced that. But what I noticed was the incredible difference between that and the heaviness of being an adult. It's like I moved from one emotional state to the next in about a split second. I hadn't even really noticed the heaviness until I felt the freedom. Does that make sense, brothers and sisters? I'm sure you all know what I mean. Now, even though I'm a spiritual teacher, of course I have moments when I feel the heaviness of being an adult. But that's coming from the way I'm thinking about my life, right? See, my thoughts in that moment switched to being 19 again, being 20 again. And that brought that sense of freedom that I had. That's why I call this thought transportation. I was actually transported to another emotional state by my thinking. It just was so clear to me in that moment how we can do that. Now, guys, don't get confused here, because I really want to be clear about this. This is not about thinking positively. Oh, here comes the sun. And why do I say that? Because we naturally think positively, brothers and sisters, when we're not caught up in our, let's call it our personal history thinking, or personal thinking, or negative or unproductive or unhealthy thoughts. Because our default setting, as I keep mentioning this, is innate mental health. And in innate mental health, we have positive thinking. We want to get an insight about how our thoughts and our feelings are always laminated together. And in that moment, I got a deeper insight about it. And I've said this, I've been sober 30 years now, this last January. I mean, how I experienced the very powerful phrase, one day at a time, and how I experience it now are like 30 different levels. This is so important, guys, if you're on a personal growth or a spiritual path in your life, is that you're looking for an insight, not an intellectual understanding, or a spiritual intellectual understanding. And in that moment, I went to another level of consciousness with something I've been teaching for a lot of years. I just saw it deeper. It came, and remember, here's a good thing to know, guys, is that insights are always absorbed through a positive feeling. And I felt very positive in that moment, and then heard something deeper about the power of my thinking to be able to create an emotional state. And that leads me into the second philosophy or principle I've been teaching in retreats in the last, about 6 months. I call it walking around in an emotional bubble. I'm sure you all know what I mean. It's like no matter where we go, we have this bubble that follows us, right? Or it moves with us. So that bubble could be sadness, frustration, disappointment, anger, not getting what we want in life, not being where we want to be in life, feeling stuck. Now, I walk around in that bubble once in a while too, but hopefully most of the time these days, what happens is that I suddenly realize that the bubble is being projected from inside of me out. Those feelings that I'm walking around inside of are coming from my own thinking that I'm giving energy to. So it's all happening within me. The bubble, this is the important part, brothers and sisters, the bubble is not being created by outside events. It's being created by the thoughts that we're having about outside events, or thoughts about our life, or thoughts about something that's going on, or somebody we're in a relationship with, right? It's all happening from within, brothers and sisters. And when I have that sudden realization that the bubble is being projected from inside of me out, suddenly the bubble bursts. And I'm back to my mental health. When I get an awareness that it's my own thinking that's creating my feelings, that always brings me back to my mental health. It's really quite magical. So be with what I'm saying. Don't listen too closely, right? Don't get caught up in the informational level of my words, brothers and sisters. Just try to listen for a feeling. And hopefully tomorrow, tonight, next week, you're going to get a little insight too about the true nature of your thoughts. So I hope this has been helpful, brothers and sisters, and I also, of course, hope to see you out here in the Magic Kingdom sometime soon and come on a really great adventure with me. Have a wonderful week. Aho! Aho, my friends.